Abraham Lincoln. A lot of people ask what he did or who he was. You might notice him on the penny or on the $5 bill. But not a lot of people knew what he did besides become the 16th President of the United States. Abraham Lincoln was born on February 12, 1809 in Hodgenville, Kentucky. He was born inside a log cabin. He and his parents moved about 2 years after he was born into a larger house 9 miles away from the log cabin. His parents were Thomas and Nancy Lincoln. Thomas Lincoln was an American farmer and a carpenter. Nancy Lincoln was a stay-at-home mom. When Abraham Lincoln was young, he and his father would farm together. They established a farm in Macon County, Illinois. While living in Macon County, Lincoln became a store clerk, militia soldier, and he became a lawyer. Later on in life, he met a woman named Mary Todd, who eventually became Mary Todd Lincoln, his wife. They had 4 boys together. His oldest son, or his boys' names are Robert Todd Lincoln, Tad Lincoln, William Wallace Lincoln, and Edward Baker Lincoln. His oldest son, Robert Todd Lincoln, was a lawyer, and in 1926, he was diagnosed with a hemorrhagic stroke, and he was 83 years old when he passed away. Their second son, Edward Baker Lincoln, was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. He was only 3 years old when he passed away. Lincoln's third son, William Wallace Lincoln, was diagnosed with a deadly disease known as typhoid fever. He passed away when he was 11 years old. Their last son, Tad Lincoln, was diagnosed with pneumonia, and he was 18 years old when he passed away. Later on November 6, 1860, Abraham Lincoln became the 16th President of the United States, beating John C. Breckinridge, Stephen A. Douglas, and John Brown. Lincoln was the first president from the Republican Party. In 1864, it was the presidential election, and Abraham Lincoln was going up against George B. McClellan. He was a Democrat, but Abraham Lincoln was reelected as President of the United States. During the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln delivered a very iconic message to people. It is known as the Gettysburg Address. The Gettysburg Address is a very motivating and influential message to this day. Abraham Lincoln delivered this message on Thursday afternoon on November 19, 1863. This speech was dedicated to the soldiers who fought in the Civil War. A little fun fact about Abraham Lincoln was that he was not a supporter of slavery. In fact, he hated the idea of slavery. After the Civil War ended, Abraham Lincoln ended slavery, and he saved a lot of African American lives. Although slavery didn't end everywhere in the U.S., but it ended in a lot of different places. On April 14, 1865, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated at the Peterson House in Washington, D.C. The man who killed him was John Wilkes Booth. After Abraham Lincoln was killed, they put his body on his bed, and he was surrounded by his friends and his family. Abraham Lincoln was buried in Springfield, Illinois in 1865. A little fact about John Wilkes Booth: he was an actor and a Confederate, but he wasn't on the Union side. Also, in case people didn't know, after Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, his wife, Mary Todd Lincoln, she went crazy. After she lost Abraham, she lost all her money, and her oldest son, Robert Todd Lincoln, had to put her inside a mental hospital because he knew that she was too crazy to be alone. And she eventually passed away in there.